domestic airport in Bali because we're going to another island. We're going to the island of Flores.
Once we were checked into the lounge, we went right for the food.
And this is why I have priority pass. Thanks, Chase Sapphire Reserve.
It was a nice lounge, and always better than hanging out in the terminal. It was just an hour-and-a-half flight from Denpasar to Labuan Bajo. We were finally going to reach Komodo National Park.
Foreigners are flocking to Labuan Bajo more and more for two primary reasons: scuba diving and to see the Komodo dragons. It had been 6 months since our last diving in Thailand, which kind of sucked, and we were really excited to see what was under the water here in Indonesia. After all, it's world famous for warm, clear water and vibrant, colorful marine life. So we booked a day trip for the following day, and it was awesome! Before every dive, your dive master takes you through a quick sight briefing, and then you jump into the water. The diving was great, and the scenery, beautiful. Believe it or not, the underwater world is far more vibrant than this footage would lead you to believe. Think every color of the spectrum, and even more. It's amazing.
Today was possibly the best dive day ever. We saw huge, beautiful manta rays. We saw plenty of sharks. And so many green turtles, along with beautiful, colorful fish and other coral. Diving here in Indonesia has been amazing so far, and I can't wait to see more underwater life.
Lots more underwater life would take place soon. But first, we would spend the next day participating in a local beach cleanup to celebrate World Oceans Day. Indonesia is one of the 5 worst world ocean polluters. We created a short video about this and shared it on Facebook, and people really seemed to like it. Tourism is much to blame for a lot of the trash, so it's the least we could do to show that a cleaner planet is important to us. After all, the seascape around here is gorgeous, and there's no reason for garbage to ruin it.
Today we're setting out on a journey to Wae Rebo Village. It's going to be a long journey. There are no directions really, there's no map, so we're gonna figure it out. We're almost 3 hours in, and I think we have another 3 hours to go. Now this is tricky because we're kind of at the point of no return. So we're gonna have to keep going for 3 hours and figure out where to hike in to Wae Rebo Village.
We asked many locals along the road for directions to Waerebo, hoping for a shortcut, or at least to ensure we were on the right path.
Hello. Petrol?
Getting gas along the way was always an interesting interaction.
How much?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Road signs were few and far between, but always gave us confidence that we were going the right way. We passed through some gorgeous areas where we wanted to stop and take photos and video, but felt we should keep moving and not stop since we didn't know how much longer the journey would take.
About 2/3 of the journey we drove on broken roads, a lot of which required Adventure Viv to get off the motorbike and walk. This slowed us down significantly. Some of the bridges were downright dangerous to cross.
You call this a road? How are you supposed to drive through this? Guess I'm walking. We've been on the bike for 6 hours and we still have another hour to get there and then probably a 3-hour hike. We are exhausted. Luckily for us, we found a warung so that we can have some instant noodles. Definitely need the nourishment.
Eventually, we found ourselves at the final town, Dengi, where we met Mr. Blasius, a friendly local who runs the information center.
So we just drove for 7 hours, 155 kilometers, which isn't that far, and we're almost there. We're starting our hike. We just parked our bike back there and we have 2 hours to go. So let's get going, because I'm tired.
This is really steep. We're just 10 minutes in and it's really steep.
We had read that the hike would take 2 to 4 hours, but we managed to do it in 1.5. We found ourselves at the welcome hut, where we were instructed to play the percussion instrument to announce our arrival. Then proceed down the hill to the village. Our goal all along was to arrive before dark had fallen, and we just made it.
We were first greeted by a young man who spoke English very well, Michael. He guided us through village procedures, which started with a brief welcome ceremony performed for all visitors by village elders. This man is the oldest current inhabitant. He's 93 years old and from the 19th generation of Wae Rebo people. We made an offering and were welcomed as temporary members of the tribe. Inside the main hut, women and children worked around stoves, preparing meals for the village.
After our welcome, we were encouraged to explore the village grounds, play with the young children, play volleyball with the older kids, and make ourselves at home. There's not a whole lot to do here, but just being here feels like something out of a National Geographic series. It doesn't feel real. And maybe that's because it requires a great deal of effort to get here. So it has preserved so much of its authenticity. Someday that may change, if better roads are built. But for now, we're so happy that we made the journey. For a price of $325,000, about 24 US dollars, you are invited to stay overnight in the guest hut. You're given dinner, breakfast, and plenty of village-produced coffee and tea. Mornings here are magical. The light breaks through the surrounding mountains and clouds, and there's a quiet buzz in the village as early risers are busy starting their day.
Coffee. We spent the night in this village, which is over 1,000 years old, and it's so incredible. We slept in one of these conical huts along with other tourists, and we had a really great experience meeting the local people and talking to the 21st generation of the Wae Rebo people. How cool is that? If you're ever in Flores, I highly recommend this experience, although you might want to hire a car instead of riding your scooter for 7 hours. So after a good night's rest, it's time to head back to Labuan Bajo. That means another 1.5 hour hike back down the mountain and 7 hours on motorbike again through terrible roads. But we will get to experience some really beautiful nature walking amongst the coffee plantations while we're hiking down. So let's get a move on it because we have a long ride ahead of us.
We wanted to stay longer, but we knew the journey ahead was long and tiring. And as it turns out, after our hike out of the mountains, we realized that our motorbike had a flat tire. So Adventure Viv and I made a plan. I would ride 9 kilometers down the hill to the village of Dintur, where I could have the tire fixed, while she would have to walk 2 kilometers down to Dengi, and then hopefully hitch a ride from our new Indonesian friends, since they had a car. Separating made me uneasy since we had no ability to communicate, but our new friends helped our plan right along. I found a shop to fix the bike, and 20 minutes later, Adventure Viv appeared.
We were so thankful that new friends, Andre and Chevry, helped us communicate with the bike mechanic. And they bought us a nice fish lunch to enjoy on the road. And most importantly, they communicated with the locals to help us realize that there was a major time-saving shortcut. This ended up saving us 3 hours on the return trip. So thank you, Andre and Chevry, for all of your help.
Let's go!
So over there once was a bridge, but that bridge is no longer there. It fell apart. A lot of broken roads. Today we thought, let's try and see if we can get across the bridge. Well, we didn't, but we did get across the river on the bike, and so I'm really happy about that. Hopefully, we can get ourselves from Waerebo to Labuan Bajo much quicker because of this little fording the river. So let's see how it goes. Here we go.
Let's go!
After an hour on the road, we pulled over by the sea and enjoyed our lunch.
Thanks, guys!
The roads were rough, but in the end, we made it back to Labuan Bajo in just 4 hours. We were relieved to be back and with plenty of time to enjoy a beautiful sunset from our hilltop hotel.
Welcome to our home for the next 4 days. That's right, we're living the sweet life again. And this time, it's on a liveaboard. That means that we'll be living on this boat for the next 4 days. And what's cool is that we are making another promotional video. So yes, I'm putting the cameraman to work again, and this time in exchange for scuba diving, hiking Komodo National Park to find some Komodo dragons, as well as hiking Pedder Island to have beautiful views of the islands in Komodo National Park.
Diving could be an expensive hobby, but we found a way to reduce the cost by actively searching for a dive company in need of video services. Not only did they put us in the boat's only suite, but gave us a 2-for-1 deal in exchange for promotional videos. So, 4 days of diving, 3 dives a day, and with Komodo National Park surrounding us. Not a bad way to spend a few days. When we weren't diving, we were relaxing under the sun, eating and making new friends. Here's our new friend Jose. Hola, Jose! We got off the boat to explore Rincha Island, one of 3 islands inhabited by the rare Komodo dragons. The largest lizards on the planet. Amazing creatures. They can be dangerous, but guides on the island keep visitors at a safe distance.
It was so cool to trek Rincha Island to see the legendary Komodo dragons. These creatures are massive and they look like dinosaurs.
I thought of my brother, Sonder, who had a plastic Komodo dragon as a kid. He used to leave it in my mom's room to scare her, and boy did it work.
So we just spent 4 days on a liveaboard, living on this boat, going scuba diving, trekking Komodo Island, and going on a short sunset hike to Pedder Island. It was awesome. I'm really excited that I have more than 50 dives now, and the cameraman has doubled his dives from before the trip, which is awesome. If you're interested in scuba diving or learning how to scuba dive, I highly recommend a liveaboard. You do 3 to 4 dives a day, and you really get comfortable with your diving skills. So yes, for all of you interested in scuba, try out a liveaboard. I really enjoyed seeing Indonesia outside of Bali. It's a different feel, a different vibe, and I got a better feel for what Indonesia's all about.
Indonesia is a huge country and very spread out, comprised of over 17,000 islands. It would take almost 40 years if you explored a different Indonesian island every day. We saw just a few and realized that a month here is not nearly enough time. So we'll be back as soon as possible. Maybe we'll live here. Who knows?
Cheers to you, Elliot, and thank you for the post-dive coffee. Bintang beer. Thank you very much, my friend. Much love.
Yeah, thanks, Big Poppy. You're the best.
Hey, Mom, just wanted to say thank you so much for sending me some coffees. This one really hits the spot. Thanks for the support. Cheers to you. I'm tired too. I had to drive all the way here. My butt is vibrating and sore.
Yay! Yay!
It's a big day in the village. There's a white guy around. Boja.
Bajo.
Labuan Bajo. Boja.
Bajo.
Boja.
Bajo.
Labuan Bajo.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Come on.